Is Aubameyang exposing Mikel Arteta with his form at Barcelona? That's the question that we're really going to tackle right about now here onto the Rokani Media Football, because it has been a talk all over on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and very many big tabloids in there for you. And one of the legendary Arsenal fans and supporters who goes when Piers Morgans came out and put up a tweet that really mocked or really insulted Mikel Arteta, that he's being exposed by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's form at Barcelona in there. But as you know, here on Rokani Media, I'm entitled to my own opinion, and the same applies to anyone onto this planet Earth that really watches football, because we all have different opinions onto this style of play. Very much I don't support Arsenal in there, but there are things I look at Arsenal and I fancy them. There are things I look at Arteta and I fancy them, and in particular question in there for you. I really believe that Mikel Arteta has my support 100%, because nowhere you should keep a player at your club when you're paying him a lot of money. He's the captain and he is the worst performing player on and off the pitch. If Aubameyang was performing well onto the pitch, or performing bad onto the pitch and was performing well off the pitch, you would have said, all right, let me really keep him onto my team, because he will get back to his form in there. You get? And if at all he was performing well on the pitch and he was performing bad onto the pitch, you would have said, all right, he's delivering, scoring in goals, but he was doing none of those. He was performing bad onto the pitch and bad off the pitch. And why should you have a striker, such a striker on your team in there? I'll 100% agree with very many people coming out and saying that Arsenal doesn't have a striker that's going to see them through all these 14 games they are left with. Yeah, you're right, but trust me, if at all you have one spoiled tomato and you leave it into a basket of tomatoes that are still okay and not yet rotten, that one tomato that is rotten is going to really spoil the entire basket. The entire basket is going to get rotten. So Aubameyang was one rotten tomato into the other fresh tomatoes of a team which goes by the names of Arsenal. So other players was very much okay with the manager. They used to respect the manager, but a man who goes by the names of Mikel Arteta, he was the captain, he was the biggest earner at the club, most experienced at the club, had the biggest profile at the club, and guess what he did? He laid away the team. He disrespected the manager than never before. You get? And that's the reason as to why Mikel Arteta said, you have to get me that armband of the captain back, and I'm suspending you from training with the Arsenal senior team until further notice in there. That's what Arteta did. And doing it, he did it in good spirit, because any man, if you're going to be successful into this world, one of the attributes you must be having, or one of the biggest principles you must be having, a man of your own word is what you should have always. You should stand onto your word. You should know that you are in charge, and when you are in charge, that means you should call out decisions that are really going to see you prosper. You get? Even God, when he was creating this world from Genesis, you get? Is it Exodus? Genesis. He said he took a decision for light to be. You get? That's what he took. He took a decision. He said, let there be light. And light was there. And he separated between light and darkness. He said, light is going to be day and darkness is going to be night. It was a decision taken by God. It was a decision. You get? On this planet Earth where we are, millions of years ago, thousands of years ago, God took a decision for water to be in the lakes, oceans, and oceans, lakes, and so on and so forth in there. You get? He took a decision. That was a decision taken by God, and it was successful in there. You get? And it applies us to human beings. If you want to be successful in life, you have to take a decision. And most of the decisions we take to be successful are always painful. Like we men, the decisions we take to remarry or settle up with a girlfriend or a wife, they are painful, because you might be having very many women out there, but you have to make a choice, because time comes when a choice has to be made, and that choice always makes one of the sides happy and the other side unhappy. You get? I know there is team Aubameyang will come out and say, all right, we loved Aubameyang very much, however much he was not scoring in for Arsenal, however much he acted like that, he would have stayed at our team. Mind you, we respect your decision, but just know you are not the manager of Arsenal. Because when Arteta gets sacked because of bad results, Aubameyang won't stand in surety for him. He won't. Aubameyang will just be out there clapping his hands saying, all right, he has gone. He thought he was going to be here forever. You get? So that is something I really want you to know, that a decision has to be made. And this time around, a painful decision was taken by Mikel Arteta. And this is not the first time he's making out such calls at Arsenal. Remember that of Mesut Ozil? He called it out. Mesut Ozil was earning £300,000 a week. He was thrown under the bus by Mikel Arteta, and he was very much okay with it. He was not even making to the match squad. You get? And he was very much okay because he was earning handsomely. You get? And Mikel Arteta said, I'm not going to put Mesut Ozil back into my team. And people are calling him out, please bring Mesut Ozil into the team because he's one of those creative players that you really need at Arsenal. Arsenal is not creating enough chances. He stood by his decision. When I really look at Mikel Arteta, I see some characters of Sir Alex Ferguson in him, because even Sir Alex Ferguson took such decisions. You get? The departure of a player who goes by the names of David Beckham. He was one of the most players that was creating so much for the team. He was really putting in free kicks at the back of the net. He was one of the high profile players in world football. By that time, I think was the most famous footballer on planet Earth. That is David Beckham in there for you. And he was coming from the academy. He liked him a lot. And guess what? Because of his character, Ferguson hit a boot and hit Beckham's eye. And the next season, Beckham was off to Real Madrid. You get? That is Sir Alex Ferguson in there for you. That is a man who does not joke. He didn't joke. He didn't joke at all, because he knew that this is time for things to happen. And if at all you don't take a decision like that and leave David Beckham at the club, even other players, the young ones, will know that, when I will act like that, nothing will happen to me, because the manager who goes by the names of Sir Alex Ferguson treated David Beckham like that. They won't throw me out. So that is something that makes a very good coach. That's what makes you a very good coach in there. You get? The decision that Pep Guardiola took at Barcelona to let Ronaldinho go. Ronaldinho was the world best player. You get? 2008 comes in through after Barcelona was knocked out of the Champions League semi-final. Rijkaard sacked. Pep Guardiola from Barcelona B given a job at a team which goes by names of Barcelona as the main manager. Guess what he does? He strips off Ronaldinho. He sends him out of the club. And he says, Messi is going to be my main man at this club. The decision was taken. Ronaldinho fans were very much pissed about it. But those at the board knew that he was doing something great, because time had phased out. And I really feel bad when Arsenal fans cry out for a player who goes by names of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is close to 33 years old. He's in his evening. And see what he was doing at Arsenal. He was even missing goal to beat. Remember that goal of Odegaard when he really cut inside very well and he hit the ball past the goalkeeper? And Aubameyang, because of the greed that he had, he tried to put a touch onto it, and because he was in offside position, that goal was nullified. It was null and void. That is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for you. And if at all a Manchester United fan who goes by the names of Rokani David can see that Aubameyang was costing Arsenal, who are you not to see it? Who are you not to see it? And I just came out and told people that Aubameyang has just gone ahead to expose himself. He's at Barcelona, playing happily, scoring in goals, 3 games, 5 goals. That is Aubameyang in there for you. He scored a hat-trick against Valencia. He scored yesterday against Atletico. It was Atletico Bilbao in there. He scored against Napoli in there. That is Aubameyang in there for you. But he was at Arsenal. He couldn't put up such performances, meaning that He was at Arsenal. He was not happy at Arsenal. He never wanted to play for Arsenal. But what kept him at Arsenal was the money he was getting, because he was earning handsomely. You get? He was earning handsomely at Arsenal. That's why he kept himself there. That is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in there for you. And people are coming out here to really say something sweet about him. I don't know why people are hypocrites like this. Let me read for you what Piers Morgan had to say. He said, 50th goal in 3 games for Barcelona. Aubameyang is making an absolute mockery of Arteta's ridiculous decision to give him away. Ridiculous means silly. It's not a silly decision to give Aubameyang away. It was not a silly decision, according to me, because Arsenal had really planned very well that Aubameyang is not going to be part of our future, especially after the January. Then in January, they had gone in for Dusan Vlahovic. And guess what? What let them out was Dusan Vlahovic siding for Juventus, and Juventus came in with a late bid. The only way I can come in here and really blame Arsenal is, why did they go for Vlahovic into the first week of January? Why did they raise the amount of money that Fiorentina wanted? Because Juventus was way far from this transfer. They were way far from this transfer in there. But when they really reached an extent, when they really saw that a player is going to leave Fiorentina and is the top scorer into the Italian Serie A, and when you look at the strikers that Juventus had, Morata was not doing well, and Paul Dybala, they said, we have to really jump onto this. And they jumped on it immediately, and they raised the 75 million euros in there to get in this player. And Arsenal has to be blamed for that, but they had really made a very good choice. And the only reason I blame Arsenal and Arteta is them going for only one player, having only one option. Yet they knew that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was on his exit out of Arsenal. You get? But it was not a ridiculous decision that was taken by Arteta. I really hail Arteta for that, because when you look at the crop of Arsenal they have very many young players. Emily Smith-Rowe. These players are under 23. Emily Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Odegaard, Nuno Tavares, Lokonga, Ramsdale. You look at those players, Gabriel and Ben White are like 24, 25. Those are young players. Either Tomiyasu is 26. You look at those players. So just know that Arsenal really has very good players. And if at all this one spoiled tomato was left at the club, it would have costed these other players, especially behavior-wise and discipline-wise. Look at what's happening at Mason Greenwood at Manchester United. Very talented young man, but he has lost everything in football because of his behavior and discipline. You get? Talk of the indisciplined players at Arsenal, and at the top, at the ceiling of the indisciplinary actions at Arsenal among his players was the captain, who was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, how can you have such a player? He's the most paid at the club. He's the most experienced player at the club. You get? And he is one of the worst performing players on and off the pitch. At least any of those would have been okay. But that is how he had to do game in, game out. That is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in there for you. The same thing happened to Jack Wilshere, and I really believe that if at all Jack Wilshere was not under Arsene Wenger, who really treated him like a father, and he was really chased out of Arsenal, I think that would have really got his mind back to his normal senses, to get to know that, oh, I'm getting off the grip. Now Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is in Barcelona playing very well, scoring goals in there for fun. That is good for Barcelona and him. But that does not mean that Arteta made a silly decision. He never made a silly decision. He never made a silly decisions. And the only way I'm calling out Arteta and the board of Arsenal is them not getting a replacement of Aubameyang in there. But if at all Arsenal makes to the top 4, are you going to say that he made a silly decision? The only way this is going to stand is when Arsenal misses out on sitters, all goals that they're supposed to be scoring in there, and they don't execute the 4th place of the Premier League to go to the Champions League. That's when this will be valid. But I don't see any validity in this. If at all you are saying that Arteta made a silly decision, no silly decisions were taken by Arteta. I really believe that Arteta took the right decision in there to take this man out of the club, because it was inevitable. It was inevitable. Aubameyang had to leave Arsenal without further ado in there. And I really go ahead and hail Mikel Arteta on a principle that if you're going to be a successful person in this world, you have to make a decision, and painful decision. If you make decisions that are not painful in your life, then you won't prosper, because that means you're trying to please other people. But Mikel Arteta went for this knowing that I'm pleasing no one. This is my team. I'm the manager. I'm trying to build something different altogether. And I'm Mikel Arteta, who was goated from Man City. And I'm now at Arsenal. I'm trying to put up my philosophy into this club. Thank you guys for watching in. Your reactions are welcome to the comment section below. Do you think Aubameyang is exposing Mikel Arteta with his form at Barcelona? I'm waiting for your reaction to the comment section below. I remain Rokani David onto the Rokani Media Football. You can as well search for us on all social media platforms. You'll get us and find us there. Search for Rokani Media. You'll follow us in there, and we'll keep the conversation flowing in there. But to me, I really feel like Mikel Arteta did the right thing, and Aubameyang, he's exposing himself that he never wanted to play for Arsenal. He was not happy at Arsenal and was playing for the monies. So, your reaction is welcome into the comment section below. I sign out.